The next step in this process is the end wedge, which is this piece of wingay that I have, and I cut it into a little taper, and this will go on the back of the guitar, and it's really the first decorative piece that you put on the guitar, because this does not serve any sort of structural purpose. It doesn't brace anything. It's strictly decorative, and it's to cover up a gap between the back, or the sides at the back. So you can see this little gap here. Quite honestly, this is the tightest I've ever gotten a gap in building guitars, and it's because I used a different type of mold, that full size mold that I mentioned in the last video. But still, I don't have the skills to make this fit up dead flush. And part of the reason for that is when you put this in a mold, you put outward pressure on it to make sure that it's pressed against the sides, the inside of the mold. And when you put that pressure, it causes this to pull apart. So now you have to cover this up, and you do it with this decorative piece. So I'm gonna set up to cut this and install this next. So I carefully marked the center line on this wedge, and I've got it clamped in. Now I'm going to use this pull saw. I'm going to use this piece of mahogany here just to kind of make sure I stay straight, stay on my line here. We'll do the same thing on this side. I've just turned it around, and I moved the clamps so I could cut this side of the wedge. This is a brand new saw, and God, it's so much. The one I had was an older saw. I'm using for a long time, and this one much more, obviously, right out of the factory, sharp. It's nice. Now I'll take a chisel and I'll start working this, trying to remove the maple. I've cut a clean line now, and also took my chisel and placed it up against the sides, went down that way, and I've also tried to clean up any of the glue. But now I'm going to sand it, because I need to try and get this as close to flat as possible. Don't forget, this was rounded, this block here was rounded to match the radius of the back of the guitar. So now I'm going to take a little sanding block and try and get that as smooth as I can, with just a quick fitting, and it goes in real nice. That's going to be really pretty. So I'll do a little sanding, and then I'll glue this in. I think I might run it through my sander one time, because it's probably a millimeter flush, and just save a little bit of sanding. I've got a little square sanding block here, and I'm going to sand this. And another thing to keep in mind, not only is this radius a little bit, there's also glue on here from when I glued, obviously when it's glued up. And you want to remove the glue, because glue glue is not going to adhere to glue. So a lot of sanding when you're building a guitar. Just a lot of sanding. Do a little glue up. I have a caul here that helps put some pressure. That's a lot of glue. Sometimes I just get a little carried away. That's a lot of glue. Light amount right here. And I've got glue on the sides there, so come in the right way here, Danny. I'm going to push this as far as it will go. It's kind of a self-clamping glue up. That's as far as it will go. Caul on here. Isn't it amazing how this fit when I did the dry fit? There we go. The one good thing about squeeze out here is you know that there's glue along the sides, and that's important that you get not only the bottom of this wedge glued down, but make sure there's glue on the side walls. Get a good strong glue joint. After this has had a chance to dry, I'll come back, I'll sand it flush, I'll cut these ends off. Be ready to start fitting the back. Next step is to get this wedge down to the same, have it flush with the side. So I'm going to start with a block plane. And I'll come back with a sander as I get close. It's a pretty piece of wood. Let's see if it'll cut in this direction. Getting pretty close. I think I'll take the sander from this point forward. That completes the end wedge. I'll come back and hit it with some 220. I'm gonna have to put a little grain filler in there, but that looks good. That looks real good. And before we end this video, let's just take a quick look at, put a little mineral spirits on there, just to give us a taste of what this thing's going to look like when it's all said and done.